Now, here's a rather unusual story. London Aquarium is embracing a very modern family. A 4-month-old Gen 2 chick, a penguin, is being raised by same-sex parents. It is the first penguin not to be assigned a gender at birth. Well, those at LIFE London Aquarium say it is more natural for the chick to grow up genderless, staff deciding not to give the chick a gender-based name, instead identifying it with a purple band. Well, let's speak to aquarist Charlotte Barkas, who is taking care of this little chick and joins us now to discuss this. Charlotte, hello.
Hello, good morning.
This is probably going to prove one of the more unusual and, dare I say, controversial stories we'll cover today, Brexit aside, of course. Won't all penguin chicks be genderless? Gender isn't really an issue to penguins, is it? It is to us, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what we wanted to do was to take the opportunity to raise the whole conversation with guests who come through to the aquarium, just to raise that exact point, that there is a difference between gender and sex. And in terms of the way that we manage the colony at the aquarium, we wouldn't manage them differently based on whether they are females or males. What we wanted to do with this chick was give guests an opportunity to meet that individual and learn about its personality without assigning it any sort of preconceived sort of gender roles like we would if we were to.
So when you say that it is common for Gen 2 penguin chicks to be genderless, what exactly do you mean by that? Are you saying that there are no kind of sex-specific or gender-specific behaviours in Gen 2 penguins?
It's a really sort of difficult subject to navigate specifically. You will get small differences in terms of behaviour based on whether they are male or female.
I mean, it's not like boy penguins are playing football and girl penguins are doing the knitting or something like that.
Yeah, because it's interesting when you say assign gender roles. What gender roles can you assign to a penguin?
Exactly, and I think that's the key thing. You don't really see it in the animal kingdom. There is a little bit of conversation going on at the moment in terms of whether we might be seeing gender roles in some higher primates, much like we're often compared to other higher primates because we're so similar. But with penguins, there's a difference between sex differences and with gender roles. Penguins would have to have some sort of society where other penguins were potentially putting pressure on little baby penguins that they should be more masculine or more feminine and things like that. So what we wanted to do was give guests that opportunity to not be putting those assumptions onto a little Gen 2 chick.
What's the reaction of visitors? Because parents come there with their children, and I was just reading about some controversy involving, I think it is CBBC, where shows there are, they've looked across all the shows there, and it's teaching children about 100 different types of gender, and parents are, some parents are outraged by this. Okay. They don't want it to be dictated to by an outside source. Mm-hmm. So what's the reaction of parents that are bringing their children to the London Aquarium?
Well, we're announcing today, so it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is. I think this is a really nice opportunity because it's sort of a soft way of introducing the concept to people, and crucially, this is sort of a fact because this is the case in the animal kingdom. We're not saying necessarily that people don't have genders, but it's a way potentially maybe some children can learn about the differences between the two definitions in a way where they're just in a nice, fun environment. It's not sort of going to be forced on anyone. It's just a topic of conversation that we'll be able to talk to them about.
I mean, obviously, Charlotte, penguins are your bag. That's your thing. But, I mean, speaking just more broadly about the animal kingdom and those that you'll have at London Aquarium, I mean, are there lessons we can learn, really, from the animal kingdom when it comes to gender roles and sexual identity? Are we not just at risk, perhaps, of just anthropomorphising these penguins a little bit?
I think that's the issue that we have when we do put gender roles on penguins. Okay. It's we're trying to relate to them, and that's totally understandable, and we like people to relate to the animals that are in the aquarium because that's how they create bonds and that's how they make changes in terms of looking after the environment. But we don't want to drift too far into the point where we're treating them like little people with fins or flippers. Yeah.
And why were, I hope I'm pronouncing their names right, Marimar
yes.
and Rocky, I can pronounce Rocky, they're same-sex penguins. Yeah. Why were they chosen as parents for this chick?
I think for us, it's not necessarily that their chick is more tended to be gender neutral. It's just that it's been a really special chick this year for us because it's the subject of a successful adoption story. So it's just sort of really captured the imaginations and the hearts of the team.
Well, this is the chick that's going to be getting all the attention at London Aquarium over the coming days. Not named yet.
Not named yet. So
you're going to have a competition for that?
Yeah, what we'd like to do is just sort of get the public involved in that naming process. So we're going to put it out on social media. It'll probably go out on Facebook predominantly. So if people want to sort of have a hand in naming the little one, then they should check on Facebook in the next few days, and then hopefully maybe your name could get picked.
Well, it won't be Neil or Sarah Jane because they're not gender neutral, are they, really?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
OK, well, we'll put those forward. We'll tweak out suggestions. Charlotte, thank you very much. Charlotte Barkers from the London Aquarium. Thank you very much for coming in to tell us all about what's happening there.